Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. After that long break, we finally got a server, and we're now into game number 2 of 6, coming up with Starladder Season 8, Day 18 coverage here on Beyond the Summit. I am Zyore. Joining me once again is Cinder and Na'Vi versus OSG. Initial impressions, my friend.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to continue the trail from yesterday because Na'Vi's playing a lot of games. Did they have 2 or 3 games yesterday? They only had 2.
Yesterday, Na'Vi had 3. They played next.kz, Virtus Pro, and QPad.
That's right, yeah, they played QPad as well. So another 3-game day for Na'Vi. They've got a lot of catching up to do because they've been busy, but yeah, they have to keep winning because their score yesterday before they started was 3-3. Now it's 6-3 after their 3 wins yesterday, and if they take another 3 wins, I believe they're actually right on their way to the top 4, if not even in it already. I believe Alliance is topping the charts right now with 10-3. So Na'Vi can actually come up and contest them and maybe even draw with them. So we're gonna have to see how this goes. Na'Vi, because of their 3 losses, can't really afford to lose much, so they're gonna have to bring their A game every game. And OSG is a team that's in a position where they could actually get pretty far in this and maybe even get a top 4 finish if they keep. If they get some momentum and get rolling. This is a team that has had some wins and had some losses, and it's been a little bit unpredictable exactly what happens. Unfortunately for them, they're playing with 2 stand-ins today, but
yeah, and
it's a team that can get rolling.
This stand-in situation is actually a bit interesting because OSG have been semi-stable. They are sitting 4-5 right now in the round robin, but you'll recognize a couple of those names. Ink Visitor is from Aspera, who have completely disbanded. They have forfeited out of Starladder, and they're standing Krilly, of course, the staple member of Popular Team, 4 Friends and Krilly, who have also disbanded in the middle of this Starladder round robin. And Stompa has been sort of a consistent stand-in. He's played with the Aspera guys a bit. He's stood in for 4FC. So OSG sort of becoming the combination of the now disbanded Aspera 4FC to join Big Num and Chomi. Ink Visitor was not on their team, was a stand-in when we last saw OSG, and now he is tagged up. So CIS region continuing to shuffle those teams around, but recognizable names here, Cinderin. Should be interesting to see how these 5 players play in harmony on the side of OSG.
Definitely looking forward to that, and I like their picks so far as well. I think this is great synergy. I love seeing Clockwork together with Pugna, because the way Clockwork works in team fights is that you hook in on someone and start the fight. So you force the enemy team to either sacrifice the hero who gets caught, or of course if they have 4 steps they can start trying to make a little bit of plays around it, but the guy who gets caught is in essence generally going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble. So what do? You combo it up with Pugna, which means that if the enemy tries to counter-initiate and take a fight with you, they take loads of damage from just casting their spells against that Nether Ward. So I think Clockwork and Pugna together should actually have a pretty good win rate. I'm not completely sure about it, but they have great synergy, at least in my opinion, in terms of lineup. Visage with that is great as well. Visage with anything is great, but with Decrepify, amplifying the damage of that Soul Assumption makes it really incredibly scary, and of course Visage, a good teamfight controller that works well with Pugna. They kind of have the same peak in the game. They tend to both get really strong around the 20 or 15 to 20, maybe 25-minute mark. These 2 heroes get really good. Whereas Na'Vi's lineup, you could say, is a little bit more late-game intensive with Bristleback and Luna. Bristle actually peaks around the same time as Pugna does, but Luna generally tends to want to go a little bit later, although she can definitely fight in the mid-game. And Na'Vi, they get Luna every single game. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, they have been running Luna quite a bit recently, and this will be another one. Sleeky now going to go ahead and grab the Slark with their 4th pick, so we'll get to see some Slark action once again here. And OSG may be interested in grabbing the Earthshaker with their final pick. He's another support that pairs very nicely with that Pugna, especially if they want to do a tri-lane here and put Slark in the mid, Clockwork in the off lane. With that Decrepify, you just hit him with a Q from the Pugna, hit him with an old Fissure there, maybe Visage throws one of his nukes, and you're in for a bad time if you're on the receiving end of that Decrepify burst. Though Enigma going to be the final pick for Na'Vi. So glad to see a small resurgence of Enigma, but just look at that team fight potential from Na'Vi. They've got Puck, Enigma, Luna on top of that with the Eclipse, Bristleback spamming all those quills, some freezing field action. Oh, this is going to be a nasty teamfight comp here from Na'Vi. Though Lich going to make a nice addition for Osaliki, much more defensive than that aggressive Earthshaker I was thinking.
Yeah, what's interesting about this as well is that it seems like there's a pattern in when Na'Vi picks Enigma. They pick it when it seems like the enemy team can't go aggressive trialing. That's kind of the story. We saw it yesterday as well. It's a final pick that Na'Vi likes to get when they feel like they can go greedy. Yeah. So Puppy will go jungle. After seeing the heroes from Oslik, they weren't afraid of the aggressive trial, and that doesn't mean Oslic can't run it, because they totally can with this combination of heroes. They could actually run a Visage Pugna Lich Lane, which they might do with a Slark mid and a Clockwork top, but they have a couple of other options as well. So one thing I want to point out though, Na'Vi, they're not afraid of the Nether Ward. Their last 2 picks are terrible against Pugna, in my opinion. They pick Puck as well as Enigma, who have incredibly high mana cost spells. So Na'Vi need to be a little bit careful with how they take this amazing team fight of theirs, because I think Oslic has got their hands on one of the better heroes to deal with this kind of a lineup.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair point, and here it's actually not going to be that Slark mid that we were talking about. Chomi is their mid player, and he is stationed about the Pugna, so OSG will be on our dire side. Going to be a solo Pugna Mig. It will be Big Num playing on Slark, right now slated for a solo long lane, where I don't think he's going to have a very fun time. We'll see maybe a 2-1-2 going to come out. Ink Visitor going to come on the Lich. He is rotating down towards the bottom, and that does leave Krilly up top on the Clockwork, and right now Stompa is the one playing on that Visage. Now, of course, the Radiant side, the fan favorites here, Team Na'Vi. Kuroki going to be on that Crystal Maiden. Puppy going to be jungling away on the Enigma. And Havost going to be in the safe lane here, playing on that hard farming Luna. Dendi going to be mid on his signature Puck. And of course, Funnick here going to be doing some off-lane bristleback action.
Yeah, let's see if Funnick can get a double kill like he did yesterday against... Which team was it again? That was against the Cupid, where he got a 1-on-2 scenario in his off-lane and actually killed both of them and survived. If that happens again, then things are going to look scary, but not going to have the easiest lane in my opinion. I think Clockwork can actually do fairly well against Bristle if he plays it right, especially when he's on the easy lane. Bristleback, very low mana pool hero, which is very mana dependent actually, so getting just a couple of mana burns out from these cogs, Krilly can really reduce the impact Funnick can have in this offlane, although one thing that goes for Funnick is that it's a dual lane he's against, so he will pretty much be getting full experience here. I think Visage not really the ideal support for this kind of scenario. Very weak alone on the early levels.
Yeah, and look at this. We see the Eidolons that were denied from the deny creep actually going mid and helping Dendi zone out Chomi just a little bit here. And Dendi already getting nice and aggressive and grabbing a small last hit advantage. Going to go 2-0. And, well, Pugna going to grab 1 there with his first Nether Ward. But Dendi already off to an aggressive start. And Pugna Puck should be a relatively even mid lane here, at least until level 6 comes out. See a nice phase shift there. But so far, Dendi getting the better of it just by a small margin. As we mentioned, Timer 2, Enigma is, I think, would you say that he's the most effective jungler in the game? I would be so bold as to say such, but I suppose you may disagree here.
I think Puppy himself says that the fastest jungler in the game is Enchantress, but it requires a couple of things to happen, and I'm actually not sure after the camps got swapped around so that the medium camp is where the small camp used to be and vice versa, then I'm not completely sure about it. But yeah. Enigma, in terms of leveling, definitely top 3, probably tied with Enchantress/Chen, as I believe Bad Rider kind of got worse at jungling in the new version. He used to be very fast as well, but Enigma, totally one of the better ones, and he has space for it as well. I don't think Havost will be needing much help down here. He's going to lose some farm because he's against the lane with Lich. That's just the way it goes, but Maiden Luna can, in my opinion, totally fight a Slark Lich lane on their own, and that means Puppy won't have to feel any sort of pressure and can really power level here in the jungle. Yeah,
Havost is off to a surprisingly slow start. He's only 2-0 in last hits and actually just missed a couple right there. I mean, Big Num is in the lane sort of contesting, but there's only so much a level 2 Slark can do to contest the farm of Luna. Right now, Big Num actually just having a huge last hit advantage. Seems to be faring much better. He is 6-3, so denying pretty heavy. And of course, Lich sacrificing those creeps has slowed it down quite a bit. Puppy will grab a haste rune here and does harass back the Lich, but not going to pursue for a kill. Only level 2, so that stun doesn't do too much. And I'm going to ask you this here, Cinder. I'll give you a chance first. How do you pronounce Enigma's stun, his Q ability?
Malefice.
Malefice. I say Malphite, and I don't think that's right. Malefice.
I'll find out how it's pronounced.
Malefice. I think you're correct.
Right away.
And Havost going to be in some trouble down here. Pounce forward from the Slark. Will connect with the leash. Lich going to come in with the nuke, and now they're going to try and turn it around onto Slark. Oh, Havost going to step way too far forward. Lich going to be the one to grab the first blood. Crystal Maiden will be able to use a Crystal Nova to finish off Big Num to make it a 1-for-1. But the 2 carries go down. Kuroki going to make it a 2-for-1. Does get the double kill as he chases down the Lich. That 280 movement speed going to be just enough to catch up to that Lich. I don't know how he caught him there. I thought Lich has such a movement speed advantage. I thought he'd be able to make it out, but I guess Kuroki just able to make it happen with that last Frostbite. Now Kuroki maybe hanging around a bit too long. Big Num going to come in. Now Havost going to be back in the action. Will throw a Lucent Beam. The pounce backwards will force back the Slark, and he's going to have to use that solve. So a very back and forth exchange, but obviously Na'Vi getting the better of it is a 2-for-1, though OSG did grab the Bloodlust gold. Or first blood gold, rather.
We have to keep in mind that the way this game is going, if Na'Vi gets a good start, they should have an economic advantage by having Enigma in the jungle.
Yes.
Since OSG are running 2 lane supports, and I'm not sure exactly how much pulling Stomper is getting done top, he's actually level 3.5, so I think he's getting some pulls and some lane experience from Krilly as well. So he's getting his part, but Lich will obviously give you an advantage in golden experience in the start because of sacrifice, but I still don't think it evens out with how much an Enigma can provide you from that jungle position. So the fact that a team that's running dual lanes with Lich is already starting to trail on golden experience is not good, because this is where Lich wants to give your team some sort of an advantage early on. And what he's managed to do is keep Havost's farm low, but unfortunately Slark isn't getting too much either. There's only one last hit separating them, 6 denies, so that's all good for OSG. At least Havost isn't leveling too fast, but farm-wise, they're looking pretty good still, Na'Vi, on their lanes, and Funnick is getting a lot of experience in the off lane as well.
Yeah, he seems to be doing quite well. He is sitting level 3 already. Oh, actually, almost level 4. Krilly going to poke forward, though. He is going to catch Funnick in the cogs. Is he going to use a battery assault? Indeed he does, but there's plenty of creeps nearby that'll absorb some of the damage, and Funnick going to survive, but just barely. Look at the lag! The rocket flare comes in, and it's just sitting on the ground here. That's... oh, God.
Oh, no.
Oh, I knew something was weird. That flare is on the ground, and it's just sitting there. It hasn't exploded yet, and that might actually be enough to finish off Funnick. Let's see, what level is the flare? It is only level 1, 80 damage. It's going to be close. I'm still in the game. We see OSG still have 4 members, but oh no. Funnick may luck out here. He may have had enough time to walk away from it, and that rocket's actually going to miss. This is sort of an interesting freeze screen we've got here.
I can't reconnect, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to hold steady that we may have to rehost here. Puppy has reconnected, so it looks like there could still be hope. But if you don't find any avail, maybe a quick Dota reset may help. Everyone else is reconnecting here.
Okay, I think...
yeah, there you go.
There we go.
All right, you're back in it. So, yeah, if you look at the top lane, though, look at that rocket. You usually don't see the little rocket just sitting on the ground like that. So,
let me see if I can see that. It doesn't show like that on my screen after I reconnected.
You're stuck in, yeah. That's a bummer.
But it stopped the salve of Funnick, which is really important, because he was salving up.
He dodged it! Oh my gosh, that was the luckiest time for a server split I've ever seen. I don't even know. Funnick just...
I think he had a salve in his inventory before. I think he used that and got hit by the rocket.
Did he?
He hasn't been healed. I'm pretty sure it must have hit, because nothing else would have stopped it. But yeah,
right.
Regardless, he has his bottle up and running, so he's going to get back up nice and fine up here in the top lane. Not so healthy actually, but we'll probably just bottle crow once and be all right there. And yeah, let's try to get a little bit back on track here in the game, because the way things are going right now, the heroes who are trading farm are Slark and Luna, so there's no carry advantage for either side in terms of farm. And then Clockwork is... who is he even with? He's kind of even with... I don't even know. He's twice the farm of Bristle, which is great of course, but... Na'Vi with top 2 farms, Dendi winning mid by a big margin. He's completely outplaying Chomi here in the mid with that puck. And that's a bad omen for OSG, because they need this Pugna to be a big factor in the mid game. Yeah.
Puck is getting the better of him, actually about doubling his last hits right here, though. Pugna is at least getting experience. He is close to level 6. Dendi with an obvious experience advantage here. I was just going to say, with that Dream Coil out, this is where things can get a little bit scary. Dendi is going to hop forward. The Illusory Orb did not connect for damage, so not going to be a kill. The Waning Rift comes in, but Chomi will be able to walk away. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Na'Vi getting aggressive at pressuring this bottom tier 1 tower. Puppy will roam out of the jungle. Only level 5 right now, so doesn't have the black hole. Havost now level 4 in this tower. Going to get taken down to at least half health here, so they do have a Basilius out already on the Luna. And, well, will help for pushing. But alas, it seems lag issues aplenty here.
At least it was just a short issue this time. Doesn't look like anyone got disconnected or anything. So it might be a little bit of a server hiccup, but it's starting to look better right now. I want to have your opinion on this, because it's something I noticed Loda did in the last game as well. Bristlebacks are not getting nasal goo before they have maxed Quill Spray and 2 points in their Bristleback. Now, we often see players getting 1 point in goo at level 4, when you have 1 point in Bristleback and 2 in the Quill.
Yep.
Maybe
Hold
I
on.
shouldn't actually be talking
We'll
about
go
that
back
one,
to it
because
here. We are
got a
going to
lot
see
of
it
action
engaged
here.
down in the bottom. Looks like it'll be a 2-0 in favor of Na'Vi. They're able to finish off the Lich, and Clockwork just kind of wander his way over. It was sort of strange positioning as that tower fell. I thought OSG would be certainly just ready to retreat following that tower falling, but now that they've conceded 2 deaths, Na'Vi gonna feel safe just pressuring forward here. They've got 6 Eidolons out, and of course they do have that Bass Ring still. No glyph available, they did burn it already, and they're at least gonna get half damage on this tier 2 tower down to the bottom, all the while on the top lane.
No way.
He's gonna survive, he sips the bottle, he had a double damage rune.
Bottle usage right there.
Wow.
Excellent.
I missed that top kill looking at bottom, but well played by Funnick to grab us kill. Again, this long lane Bristleback, pretty potent when Funnick's the one in charge of that Bristleback. This is now back-to-back games, basically, we've seen him pick up kills in a lane where he is just completely outnumbered.
Yeah. I think we have a little bit of time now, because
Yes.
it looks like the heroes are falling back. So once again, let me raise my question from before. What do you think about Bristleback not getting Nasal Goo early on? He was able to pick up this solo kill regardless, but I just feel like this 1 point into Nasal Goo does so much for you. It's a 20% slow on first cast, and it lasts for so long and stacks up your Warpath. But right now, Funnick doesn't have it available, so stacking up Warpath is a lot harder, because you only have 1 active spell to do it with. And at level 7, you want to take Quill Spray again, so effectively delaying your Nasal Goo until level 8. Loda did the same in the last game. What do you think?
Yeah, well, based on what we've seen so far, it seems not needed to set up kills. I think it's just they want to go this more survivability-based build, especially if they're in the long lane. I think when we see safe lane Bristleback, that goo is a little bit more commonplace if they think they can grab kills with it.
Top lane Krilly is in trouble as well. There's the Dream Call. Nice play by Funnick to make sure to walk into the cogs before they get dropped, and an easy kill for now.
And this is kind of point in case if they didn't even need the goo to set up that kill. So when you're in the long lane, I guess they value that extra point in survivability much more in the goo, because in most cases, you're going to be on the back foot, and your opportunity to get kills are when they overcommit on you, and having that extra point in Bristleback lets you last longer, gets the chance for some more Quill Sprays to add up, and then of course having those extra points in Quill Spray allow you to do that return damage more effectively than the goo can, because in most cases I don't think the goo is really going to save you if you're in a 2v1 long lane situation and you're running. If you're stuck in a bad position, you're stuck in cogs, that goo is not going to help too much, but that extra bit of damage mitigation from the Bristleback ability, well, every so often that little bit does add up enough to mean the difference between death and survival. So that's the best I can reason it. But yeah, it is
another
interesting.
kill in mid.
Yeah,
Show me actually Havost rotating mid on the Luna. Very interesting play, which we don't see happen that often. But since Havost can't really be on bottom lane right now with the push, he's getting the most of it by making a kill there in the mid lane. And yeah, I agree with you on the Bristle thing. I think it makes a lot more sense in the off lane. Actually, he's not even skilling it on level 8. He's taking 3rd point in Bristleback here. But in an easy lane situation where you're against an offlaner, I think that slow is really warranted. But last game Loda didn't get it either. Here we go. Krilly is going to hook in on Funnick, and there's backup from Stumper as well. Probably going to be able to get this kill. Nice positioning from Stumper, making sure he gets towards the front of the Bristle, or at least the side before using the Soul Assumption. And back to level 6 on Visage. This is really important.
Yeah,
and Krilly has to be the Plague Man.
Yeah, Dendy going to rotate up to the top lane now. Chomi actually going to rotate as well, so we could see an engage happen. But as you mentioned, Visage hitting level 6 is absolutely great news for OSG. For Visage, that is the name of the game, getting that early experience. Totally becomes a different hero once those birds come out onto the field. But it looks like that top engage is going to peter down. And Enigma now level 8. So, of course, does have the Black Hole. Ready to get a little bit aggressive here, perhaps. Going to rotate mid, but not going to find it. So Puppy just going to go back to farming, but he's got a nice early mech here. He's got the 2 core pieces on him, already has the Arcane Boots, and the recipe is in the bank. So it's going to be about a 10-minute mech or so once the Courier delivers it, which will bode well for Na'Vi if they do want to get aggressive and take some team fights here in the upcoming moments.
Havost with the Midas now. Flying out, we'll be skyrocketing on farm. We've got more disconnections. Oh dear, this is not looking good.
Oh dear.
Not sure what's going on right now, but...
You may want to toggle your in-game mic again. That reset or disconnect may or may not have messed it up. I see a few people in chat.
Okay, that's really weird. It's showing like it's working, which it didn't earlier today, but I'll toggle it off.
You know what? Here, I can test it out. Let me turn up my voice and we'll have a go at it. Give us a check here.
Okay. Alright, I just toggled it off and on again. Now it's not showing in game. I'm gonna reconnect.
Okay,
actually.
Yeah, go for it.
I think that's the best thing.
I heard you at first, and then it disappeared, so kind of strange. And they'll resume, but
very odd.
Crazy here, yeah. So
they aren't waiting for me.
No, those dogs.
All right, looks good now.
Okay, there we go. Odd issues happening on the Dota network today. When I logged in this morning, I did not have Dota network. Then I reset Steam, and my network came back magically. So I don't know what that was all about, but weird things happening in the Dota universe. So, alright, back to action here. 10.5 minutes in, 7-2. A sizable gold lead here for Na'Vi already. Upwards of about 5,000 gold, 4,000 experience or so. They do have the tower advantage, 1-0. They did clear that bottom tier 1 tower. It is always a little bit disorienting when these pauses come out, and I seem to forget sort of what's happened. But in the mid, this tier 1 tower taking some heavy pressure, some Eidolons as well as an illusion rune on the puck will make for pretty easy tower pushing. But up in the top lane, Krilly going to do a short range hookshot onto the Crystal Maiden. Visage going to be there. That's going to be a dead Kuroki. Not much you could have done there. Visage going to have a good bit of burst as those familiars were nearby. Now Puppey and Havost going to rotate in and we'll see a team fight transpire. Visage going to take a lot, will fall to the Wrath of Havost. The Eclipse comes out and that'll be the end of the clockwork as well. A solo black hole on Big Num. Of course that is the Slark. Not going to be enough for the kill though. The follow-up damage just won't be there. And Slark will be able to pounce to survival. The mech has been arrived, and, well, now they may continue on. In the mid, Puck did pick up a kill onto the Lich while all that was happening up top. So Na'Vi getting a multifaceted victory here in a 3-for-0 exchange. Oh, Dendy going to grab the courier as well. That was just an example of poor micro right there. Dendy was on the high ground, he picked up a kill, and the courier just flew right by, right in front of him, almost as if they were taunting Dendy with that courier. That will be enough to grab his Blink Dagger, and now Chomi actually going to be in a little bit of trouble. Dendy going to throw the Illusory Orb, and it is kind of off the mark a little bit, may ensure the survival of Chomi here. Funnet going to come in, but I don't think they're going to be able to get there in time. The Blink Dagger is on the courier, on the way, and maybe if it gets delivered to Dendy, he can blink forward and make it happen. He wants to do it. He's thinking about it. Good timing on that blink. But no, not going to find it. Instead, they're going to go to the team fight up here. Chain Frost comes out from the Lich. That'll be the end of Kuroki. But the rest of Na'Vi now going to group up. They're going to continue to pursue. Krilly going to be in some trouble. Lich already down. Havost in the front lines doing a lot of damage. He doesn't have much to his name. Just brown boots and a hand of Midas. But he's still in the mix. Spamming those Lucent Beams. Down goes the Slark. And Na'Vi just going to take back-to-back convincing team fights here. It may translate to now a free tier 2 tower up here in the top.
Yeah, this is all there. This game is all Na'Vi right now. They've almost racked up what we talked about yesterday. We had a couple of these games where one team gets about 1,000 gold advantage per minute. But this time we're approaching it at 13 minutes. Na'Vi's advantage here is completely insane. And the other thing about it is that they have these team fight items that OSG are struggling to find a way to fight against. At this point, you would like to have the mechanism on Pugna, but he isn't even close, whereas Puppey has his. Dendy has the blink, like you said. He's putting it to great use here again, already getting the kill on Lich. And, well, I think it's just a matter of time before Na'Vi looks for the next tower in the mid-tier 1. It's already on 1/3 HP and should be a pretty easy pickup for them.
Yeah, it really should be. Looking at that net worth chart, quite scary. Crystal Maiden, the only one on par with OSG. Other than that, the top 4 farmers in the game are just a hop and a skip ahead of everyone on OSG by a pretty big margin. That is a scary-looking bar graph, to say the least. So, Na'Vi definitely in great shape here. And interestingly enough, Havost has been able to stay very active in these last few team fights, despite having very few items to his name. We did see a hookshot in the mid off the mark. Dendy, with the double damage rune, does hop forward, and that'll be the end of the Lich. Looks like they want Kuroki.
Here.
Oh, no.
Flag. He was just standing still behind the tier 1 tower there.
Oh, no.
I can't use spells. Oh, dear. Oh, this time Vlad even disconnects.
Yeah.
Losing out almost everyone. Well, we're still in the game, so everything is alright.
Yeah, obviously some serious server issues here. Can't use spells, 75% packet loss, no good, but yeah, one of these situations where Na'Vi have such a lead here. If server issues continue, OSG may be tempted to tap out before too long. Yeah, we're not quite at that point of no return yet, but Na'Vi with a very sizable lead here. And again, Havost, he still doesn't have many items. Once he starts using this gold, he's got 3K in the bank. Once he starts buying items, I mean, even power treads will be a step in the right direction. I think OSG are going to be hard-pressed to deal with this Luna, because all in all, they actually don't have much crowd control. They've got the Pounce Leash, they've got some slows from the Lich and the Visage, but they don't really have any true stuns, which is one problem with the draft that they've worked out for themselves here.
Yeah, and apart from that, they have a really mid-game oriented lineup like we talked about, and about 20 to 25 is when they would like to hit their stride, but there's absolutely no way they're going to do that in this game with the kind of disadvantage they have. So the problem is they've kind of picked an all-in strategy, and they've lost, yeah, that's right. Hey, I'm Danish. They've lost in the stage of the game when they should be winning, right? So what's the comeback plan if you're OSG right now? I feel like they've played their chance and it didn't work, and now where do you go from here? You can't play a late-game solo core Slark against a Luna, Bristleback, and Enigma. It's it's really looking grim for them. What they need right now, they need to try to fight. I would say if OSG does anything else than trying to 5-man right now, they're making a mistake. Try to fight, put the Pugna ward, hope for a great fight, hope for some good spells and a mistake from Na'Vi, else you're not coming back in this game.
Yeah, and part of the issue with this Slark is that he just doesn't have much to his name. He's got Power Treads, Orb of Venom, and a Bracer. I mean, he's got a Stout Shield as well as a Magic Wand, but really not too much, and Slark is that snowball hero that really needs to have a good start if he can pick up some kills. That's great, yeah.
Get 2 as well, yep.
Caught that one. Oh, man.
Easy kills.
Easy peasy. Oh, Dendi gonna be maybe grabbing a Dagon here. Has himself that Staff of Wizardry. Started with the Null Talisman. I think it very well will be a Dagon puck coming up, as Dendi is sitting 7-1-2, and his only death was following that bit of lag as he was just AFK behind that Tier 1 tower. Havos gonna have an interesting Eclipse there. We'll get a couple of beams off on the Clockwork, but ultimately just going to obliterate the creep wave. Not to worry though, Na'Vi gonna come around the side and they will finish off Clockwork after that sloppy Eclipse. Now Puppey acting like he's on the back foot, will turn and gonna burn a black hole. It is gonna cost him his life, but they do secure the kill on Big Num as Kuroki burns the freezing field. Havos comes in, and that's gonna be the end of the Visage, and Slark ends up being a 1-for-3, and Bristleback all by his lonesome gonna be able to grab a kill on the Pugna, and looks like the GG comes out. Another pause, maybe a bit of lag issue, but that's gonna be it. GG well played come out from OSG, and I think very well timed. Na'Vi breaching that 1K per minute. And gonna take a convincing win here for game 2 of 6.
And if you watch that last fight, the Black Hole from Puppey, this might be one of the hardest things to learn when you're a new player in this game playing against Visage. Like, what works on birds is completely random. You just really don't know what works on the familiars. But Black Hole does. And Puppey knows this and drops a really good Black Hole there in the end. One of the few abilities that work, and it's seemingly a little bit random what actually does work. But Black Hole goes through and holds the familiars in place, so Stomp couldn't drop them, couldn't get Puppey down in time, and very nice little detail there coming out from Puppey and Kuroki, you could say, in that last fight. And, yeah, Na'Vi just completely dominant in this game. I think this is the shortest game we've had so far.
And some of that could have been influenced by the lag issues as well. Maybe OSG would have hung in there if it was more of a fun game, but when you have lag issues, 70% packet loss, that kind of stuff, it's not even fun, it's just frustrating, so not surprised to see him tap out. Still a noble effort, plenty more Na'Vi action coming your way here, folks. They've got 2 more games before we move into the SSD 5th and 6th matches of the day. We're a third of the way done, but plenty more Dota coming your way here on Day 18 of Starladder Season 8. Thank you for joining us on Beyond the Summit. I am Zyori. With me once again is Cinderin. Stay tuned, folks, because we will be back after this short break.